demo, you get to know how to build and automate the creation of development and prototype environments for hybrid software delivery using the AWS CDK to automate EKS Distro environment provisioning for development purposes, right? So here is the overall architecture and the key steps we are going to be performing over this demo. First one is we are going to get our hands dirty with EKS Distro and the AWS CDK. Then we're going to spin up a second cluster using the regular EKS cluster on our AWS cloud. Then we are going to build and deploy a REST API with Node.js, Express, and Amazon Document DB with these two different clusters. And then you're going to get to know how to monitor this using the EKS Distro with EKS Connector. So let's get started. Let's set up the AWS CDK in this AWS Cloud9 workspace. We're going to get started by install npm and then bootstrapping CDK. The first step is to run npm run build, then use the CDK deploy all. Basically, this step is to deploy the two stacks that I have created to automate everything. This should take about 5 to 6 minutes to complete. But as you can see here, we're going to install all the dependencies required to run this demo, like S3 buckets, IAM, roles, and so on and so forth. As you may see here, we are deploying the first stack, which is the CDK root 53, which create the hosted zones for this EKS distro. And then the next step is to creating the cluster, right? So you're gonna see all the dependencies, and this should take some additional minutes to complete. Now that the CDK application has completed, we can see the output and use information provided to connect to the EC2 instance. Now you're going to learn really quickly how to do that. And now you can see that most of the components have been deployed, and the cluster should be up and running in just a matter of seconds. Now that we are done with the first step, then we're going to spin up an EKS cluster on AWS Cloud using the EKS control. This is a really straightforward process that's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes. But as you can see here, here is the cluster itself. And as you guys may see here, there is a second EKS dev environment being created. After 15 minutes, the EKS cluster on the AWS cloud is finished and completed. And then basically the next step is to build and deploy a REST API with the Node.js. But before we can get started, just let me set up the kube config so that we can see both the context of these two clusters created. And here we go. Here are the two clusters. We can go to the console and see they are both running. And then the next step is to set up this application. So first, let me start with the Amazon DocumentDB configuration. And then if we go to the DocumentDB console, we should be able to see there is a cluster and a cluster instance being created. It's just a matter of minutes and it's going to be up and running. In the meantime, to be able to connect with the Amazon DocumentDB and these EKS clusters as they were deployed on different VPCs, there are several ways to let them connect to each other. One of the easiest ways is to set up VPC peering, and that's what we're going to be doing. So everything has been automated. And now that the VPC has been created, as you guys may see here, there is one to connect EKS with DocumentDB that has been deployed on the default VPC, and one second peering connection between EKS Distro and the DocumentDB cluster instance. Now we are going to use Mongo Shell to connect to the Amazon DocumentDB and create the sample database moves collection. It's a really straightforward. The script for doing that is within the GitHub repository. This is very straightforward process, and we are all set with the database layer of this example. Then the next step is to create a movies REST API to consume this data, right? So everything has been automated. Basically what we are gonna do is to build a Docker image with an application to be used for this Kubernetes cluster. So this is the next step. So you may see this application being pushed into ECR. And if we go to the ECR, we should be able to see there is a new image has been created for this example. Then as a next step, basically we are going to be deploying the application for both of them. Then finally, what we're gonna do is to consuming all the records through this Node REST API. This is a straightforward process. And as you can see here, there are several steps we performed. We created records, we inserted the records, we deleted, moved records, and so on and so forth. And again, now that we have deployed both the Amazon Document DB and the example Node REST API, we can certainly go to the EKS dashboard and then we can explore the resources that have been deployed. For example, the Node API. Then we may drill down here and see the Node REST API controller components. And that's it. Thanks for watching.